So Shazam.
Nothing happened.
Nothing happened, but something did happen, and we did get to see Shazam this past weekend, and what a fantastic movie. I was in tears of laughter the whole time during this movie, which is kind of an interesting thing that you want to say when it comes to a DCEU movie, because they've been kind of grittier in the past, but this one has been very lifting and very fun. I think that Zachary Levi really took this role and kind of went with it and made it his own.
Oh, hey, what's up? I'm a superhero.
Granted, though, you remember there was some humor sprinkled in throughout Aquaman,
right?
Especially during like the photo parts. But overwhelmingly action-oriented, where I think what kind of gives it that lighter, fair attitude is Zachary Levi's approach. Right. That kid in a superhero's body, and the wonder and the excitement and just the silliness that comes with that. Now, at the same time, it was giving us a lot of origin when it comes to the villains. So Mark Strong, again, fantastic job. And I love what they did with this villain. I felt like they gave us a lot of villain backstory in this one, which you don't typically see when it comes to majority of any of the superhero movies. Usually it's just, hey, here's the bad guy, you gotta defeat him. But I thought it was really well done and refreshing on the villain side and refreshing on an origin of a superhero as well.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I really knew about Shazam was watching him in the Justice League animated movie.
That and the video game when it came to Injustice.
Shazam! Yes, those were kind of the only aspects that I had regarding Shazam. So I kind of went into this movie with an open mind and open arms, essentially trying to figure out basically a clean slate.
The ultimate tool for a master thief with a record.
And I'm looking forward to seeing what they have more for Shazam. Jack Dylan Grazer and Zachary Levi's character, their relationship together, I thought was perfect. I thought that they played off each other very, very well. And that's kind of what worked for me in this movie, because every time that they were on screen, I was just kind of engaged. I'm like, okay, I get this, I like this, I see what's going on.
It kind of reminded me a little bit of a couple of those body switching movies like Vice Versa and like Father Like Son, but for me, the whole relationship with Shazam and, of course, Jack Grazer was more like Sean Astin and Dudley Moore in like Father Like Son, because Sean Astin was the best friend, and you got the best friend hanging out with the much older but yet childlike wonder that was Dudley Moore, and the two of them together, Trigger and the Doc, it was a lot of fun to see the two of them out together, and that's what I felt with this one. Was it's technically two kids out with, you know, all this power at their fingertips, but one of them is actually the kid. Jack got to be there, you know, playing himself, right, versus having Billy Batson being non-existent because it was now taken over by Zachary Levi, which was kind of leading into the downside for me in this movie.
Right, which is kind of like Big in Tom Hanks with his friend, and they and kind of being kids together, yet Tom Hanks is the adult in the situation there. But yeah, you're right. I mean, aside from that, though, there are some times where I felt like there was a disconnect between the actor who played Billy Batson and then Zachary Levi playing Shazam.
I felt like they should have gotten next to each other, you know, for a while on a retreat and just been like, all right, how are we going to approach this character? You, Billy Batson, you need to copy me a little bit more because I'm going to obviously be the template. So we need to get a little bit of those character traits in there, and I just felt a disconnect between when Billy Batson was Billy Batson and then, of course, when Shazam was there. Now, granted, that has happened before in other movies where the kid, as the kid before he's adult, is clearly not as fun for the actor to be playing when it comes to them swapping. So Zachary Levi having all sorts of fun. He's kind of over-the-top kid inside the body of a superhero, where Billy Batson himself was just kind of like a morose teenager, kind of quiet, not really much personality for me. He was kind of boring to me. But you put him up right next to Jack, and of course, like, yeah, okay, it works. Jack's a great supplement to all of it. And then, I don't know, I felt like a trait here or there, maybe, you know, just a facial expression or just something that they could keep consistent between both versions of Billy Batson would have definitely been a little bit easier for me to accept him as, well, okay, it's Zachary Levi as Shazam versus, oh, this kid is actually that. Like, I had a very big separation between the two.
Yeah, but then it comes full circle towards certain stuff that happened in the movie towards the end that you're like, okay, now it's kind of like where it needs to be, which is really like a good fitting for
Definitely.
the characters, and I really like it. So if, once it comes out, definitely go see it, because that whole storyline and everything that they have going on as far as the villain and stuff is pretty good. Another thing that kind of, as you guys already know us, we are huge on scores, and every time I go to a movie, I always try to pay attention to see if there's a theme that is repeating in the movie, or if there's a theme that stands out to me. And for this movie, unfortunately, it felt like more of just kind of ambiance, like generic, like superhero music that's going along, which is fine too, because you definitely need those music, those emotional tones type of music that kind of triggers a emotion in you when you're watching the movie at the same time, whether it be sad music or like action-packed type music. But I always wanted to see it go a little bit further and maybe have something that's more memorable to me.
Yeah, it definitely was like hitting hard on the superhero fanfare, but nothing that really was unique or stood out to be something that'll, you know, span the test of time. It was just kind of there and it was gone, and I can't even remember anything about it. But yes, the action, the characters, I loved so much about this movie. It felt like it was in its own world, even though it did share everybody else's films in the DCEU. Definitely stay for the mid-credits and the after-credits. There is plenty for you after the fact. Yeah, and definitely check out Shazam. A lot of fun with it. I would end up giving it myself a 4.25 out of 5.
See, for me, I'm going to go a little bit higher with a 4.8.
4.8.
Yeah.
Damn, that's really high.
I really did like it a lot.
I definitely was taken aback by a lot of the Billy Batson stuff.
See, that didn't bother me as much because of the way the relationship was with him and Jack, everyone around Jack, and just kind of all the relationship together. So that didn't really bother me as much.
Jack was a shining moment. He was definitely number 2 to Shazam, and Mark Strong was definitely a very close third, and then Santa Claus is number 4. But either way, what did you guys think of our non-spoiler review before you go and see it? If you did see it, kind of keep it non-spoilery down in the comments below. You can also like and subscribe.
And do the thing on our Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Stardust.
All the social networking gin joints, you know where they are. Kicking the party, fill the party, keep the party going on our Patreon. Gets us where we need to go. Thank you guys so much, and as always,
now it's time to say goodbye.
This party is over. Bye.
Bye.
Clean as a clean slate.